maybe being a great artist isn't really about that final destination. Maybe it's more about the process and the living through your art and the creation. I've been an artist for most of my life. You'll hear the same story from artists again and again and again. When I was a kid, I couldn't stop drawing. I loved painting. And then I went to art school. Art really has had its nails dug into me for quite some time. I originally loved drawing. I could have sworn that I was not a painter. And then when college hit, I fell in love with painting. I learned new softwares while I was in college, like Adobe Illustrator. And out of college, when I was pregnant with my daughter, I learned to draw digitally. That is where Procreate came into play. I've tried to find a style over and over and over again. More recently, I've tried my hand in oil pastels and in watercolor. And for me, something that I've realized about myself as an artist is that I just love the process of experimenting. I love new mediums, new ways of doing things, learning from different artists. But something that I've learned along the way is that each time I learn something new, it's a little bit uncomfortable. A lot of us spend so much time trying to be good at something that we forget the joy in just the experimentation. Being a beginner in anything can be pretty uncomfortable, especially if you are an artist that is already really good at one medium and trying your hand at a new one. You make a bunch of mistakes, you have no idea how that medium works. You compare yourself to people that have been using that same medium for years. And if you're anything like me, it almost feels like you should be better at this from the get-go. But it's interesting because when you're a beginner, that is when you are also at your most curious. You're willing to use the medium in a way that isn't supposed to be used that way. You think about every brushstroke or every pencil line. You make a ton of mistakes, but those end up being part of the lesson. And a lot of times you're just trying to figure out how to use this medium, so you're experimenting instead of trying to prove yourself as an artist. Because I think when we get really, really good at one thing, we almost lose that curiosity. So we stop giving ourselves the permission to play and explore because we're so focused on making something that could sell or that is a finished masterpiece. I think social media has made this a lot harder because most of the time when you're scrolling, you're seeing a finished masterpiece or somebody going from zero to the best thing you've ever seen in about a 30-second clip, which is obviously unattainable. You know that they've been spending days, if not weeks, on that same painting. We're seeing perfect sketchbooks where everything in this sketchbook looks like a masterpiece, which is not the point of a sketchbook. We're seeing beautiful studios that people are making, and almost like artists that never seem to struggle or have imperfections or never seem to make mistakes. But what we're not seeing is the reality of that situation, which is hundreds of mistakes and paint strokes that go wrong and awkward attempts, and you know where I'm going. We're comparing our first attempt at a new medium with somebody's 100th or 1,000th time using it. In the beginning of the year, I was experimenting with oil pastels, and now I'm trying to experiment more with watercolor paint. And it doesn't mean I want to become a watercolor artist overnight. It just means that I love the part about art that is the experimenting. I love seeing new mediums and trying new things. I love to make something messy, and then the next day, it almost looks like a complete and total upgrade because I got that part of it out of the way. And oftentimes I surprise myself, like I didn't think something would come out as well as it did, and now I'm really happy about it because I gave myself the opportunity to learn something new. And that brings me to my point that I really believe that curiosity builds better artists. I don't think artists stay great artists because they stay doing the same thing over and over again and because that they know everything. I think they stay great artists because they keep learning, and whatever that learning looks like to them, whether that's continuously practicing their craft or learning new things, all of that makes a great artist. And whether or not you are somebody who only wants to use one medium or wants to explore a plethora of mediums, you can experiment as well. You can try new styles, you can try different brush strokes, you can try different shading techniques or lighting. But what I really encourage you to do is just put the paint on the canvas or the paper, or put the pencil in the sketchbook. Whatever you have to do to experiment, please do that. Try the medium you are the most intimidated by and try it again and again and again. You might just surprise yourself. Draw the thing that you're convinced you're horrible at. Like, if you have no idea how to draw portraits, draw a bunch of portraits. And don't be afraid to make things that nobody will ever see. Not everything has to be documented. Just let yourself be curious again as an artist. Maybe being a great artist isn't really about that final destination. Maybe it's more about the process and the living through your art and the creation. Maybe it's about staying open to new possibilities or new experiences. And remember that every single artist that you admire has once started in the same place that you are right now. Not knowing where to put the pencil on the paper, not understanding how to mix colors, and definitely looking at a blank page and not knowing where to start. So let yourself be curious, let yourself experiment, and let yourself stay creative. I'll see you guys next time.